In this video, I'm going to break down the magnetic mask in Final Cut Pro, and I'm going to explain it in very simple terms so that you can become a power user. By the end of today's video, you should be able to use the magnetic mask like a professional, which is always the goal with these videos, to leave you in a better place than you started. That's right, no gatekeeping, just a guy who loves making videos, who wants to share that passion with the world so that other people can see how much fun it can be to edit videos. So for starters, what is the magnetic mask? Well, it's exactly how it sounds. It's a mask that's magnetic. The reason it's called magnetic is the mask attaches to whatever object you click on. So based on where you click, the AI in Final Cut Pro is going to try and detect the entire object that you selected. So if you select a face or a person, it's going to try and identify that and separate it from the background. That being said, this program is not perfect, so there's some things that you need to do to make it easier. For instance, there should be a high contrast between the subject and the background. If you don't, it's going to have a hard time selecting the object, and I'm going to show you with an example here shortly. Now you might be wondering, what is a mask? And no, it doesn't have anything to do with Scooby-Doo, Halloween, or Jim Carrey. In video editing terms, a mask is something that isolates an object so you can remove it, reveal it, and do all kinds of things to that specific portion of the video. This has traditionally been done in Final Cut Pro through a few effects, but it's insanely time consuming, so the magnetic mask is a huge time saver. If you wanted to mask out an object, let's say a person, you had to go in and add a draw mask and then add points around the entire person's body to mask it out. And the worst part is it wouldn't track. So you would have to add keyframes on all the anchor points and then go frame by frame adjusting it to make sure that the mask stays on the person. There are still use cases for the draw mask. However, the magnetic mask is something that I've been using in almost all my edits, and it makes it so simple. Now that you know what the magnetic mask is, let's hop into Final Cut Pro so you can see how to use it in real time. First, select your clip and click on this magic wand. Select the option magnetic mask. From here, you're prompted to select your masking area with the eyedrop tool. If this doesn't show up, make sure that the clip is selected, and in the inspector window, you have the magnetic mask effect selected as well. So if you're in a different tab, it won't work. Then all you have to do is select the area you want to mask. I like to add at least a few corners of the object to help it select the whole thing. If any part starts to bleed outside the object, hold Option and then click. You'll see that it adds a minus on the eyedrop, and that click adds a red dot. This tells the program to not use this area. You can also manually switch back and forth using these buttons. The next thing to look at are these paintbrush looking buttons. The one with the plus adds to the mask, and the one with the minus, you guessed it, subtracts it from the mask. These paintbrushes are used to draw an area to add or subtract from the mask. So if there's a part that should be selected but the eyedropper is having a hard time, you can draw the section you want to pick out. You can also make brush strokes smaller or bigger to dial in the mask. Once you're happy with the selection, you can hit Analyze. This will analyze the whole clip and track each frame. Once completed, hit Done and you can see the mask. If there are sections that didn't quite work, you can go into the specific frame and adjust the mask there. At this point, the masked area is what is shown. Let's look at the inspector window next so you know how to make even more adjustments. The color is just to categorize the mask. So if you have multiple masks on one clip, it makes it easier to tell them apart. The little body icon shows you the mask removed as well as the original clip. The feather is important to use when you need to blend or have sharp edges from the subject to the background. This part here that says View Mask is something I don't use very often, but you can see the mask as colors as opposed to the real image. You can do black and white or color. This square box is super helpful. You can add more masks here, but what is really cool is inverting the mask. This is how you can adjust the background without affecting the subject that you selected. So if you wanted to make the background black and white, but keep your subject in color, you can do that here. This clip I got at Marshall is a really good example to show you if you're trying to mask the same color out and how it has a hard time doing that. So we added the magnetic mask and we're gonna hit the corners. You can see it kind of is wonky. It's kind of selecting some of this stuff. It doesn't really know what to do. So when you hold Option and then click around it, you can see between just the 2, 3, 4 clicks, it looks like it kind of figured it out. So from there, you'll analyze, and just like that, it's stuck on just the sign. And that pretty much sums up the magnetic mask. In my last video, I showed 5 really cool practical ways to use the magnetic mask, which is linked here and in the description. So feel free to check that out if you want to use this in your videos. As always, if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and comment a different topic that you want me to cover in Final Cut Pro, and I got you. All right, can't wait to see the next one. Take it easy.